Go where your best prayers take you. Unclench the fists of your spirit and take it easy. Breathe deeply of the glad air and live one day at a time. Know that you are precious and learn to trust. Amen. Well, good morning to all of you on this pretty fall morning, although it's 90 degrees already. It is fall break, so lots of folks are moving and traveling, and some of our staff will be in and out during the week. So if you travel, please travel safely. It has been one long week or 10 days of controversy and news, and I'm not going to talk about any of that. So you can relax. In fact, I'm going to take you so far from there in a wonderful place. Literally, we're going to escape this stuff. We're going to escape all this stuff. We're going to leave. In fact, you're going with me right now up into the air. Can't you feel yourself? You're at about 5,000 feet and climbing. Then we're going to keep flying. We're going to fly out of this globe, out of this earth, out of the air above us. We're going to go into space. So I want you to travel with me for a moment, just for fun. We're going to go, believe it or not, as we pick up speed, 1,000 light years from here. So how many of you know how far is a light year? Somebody tell me. Who's a physicist in the group? How far, Dave? There you go, 385 per second, which translates to, do you know how many miles? 6 trillion. So we're going to go 1,006 trillion times 6 trillion away from here. And we're going to get to a place, something that NASA has discovered along with some other things through radio telescopes, a neutron star that is 10,000 years old. So I really want you to escape all the stuff of this last week and focus with me. And you can see this, by the way. Look it up. I'm going to give you the site to look at and see this neutron star that is 10,000 years old that was formed from the implosion of a sun like ours 10,000 years ago. And what is left is this neutron star, are you still with me? 16 times across, 16 times larger than the width of our moon in a circle. That's what's left. And it's dense. Pure energy in a star. And you can actually see the picture. It's called a Vela, V-E-L-A pulsar. And they've sent these radio waves out. And they have a picture of it. It's intriguing. What's more fascinating when I read about this is this Vela pulsar spins. It's spinning. Do you want to know how fast? 11 cycles a second. I want you to grasp, I really do, just slow down for a second. We're worried about so much stuff. Think about, there are lots of these Vela pulsars out there. And this is one, spinning 11 times a second, 16 times the width of the moon. And guess what? This is even cooler. It emits a sound. In fact, it's like a song, and you're going to hear it. We can hear it through NASA. "1,000 times 6 trillion miles from here. It's spinning, making that noise." Thank you. And there are a lot of them out there. And when you put those noises together, it's almost like this symphony of sound, this echo of sound in the universe that is all around us. Every minute of every day, whether we're aware of it or not. I mean, really and truly, how awesome is that? Just to slow down and begin to kind of calibrate who we are and how all of this is. That we are one tiny piece of that, and that is even more expansive. So look it up, Google it, put Vela pulsar, boom, NASA's sites will come up, and you can hear all those sounds of those stars emitting their song, the song of the universe. I want to point you to something. We really believe, we Christians, that all of that was created. It did not happen by accident. And we have disagreements about the creation the mechanics of it, right? We have lots of opinions. What we don't have a disagreement about is that we have the same creator in mind, the one we call God, has somehow nudged all of this into being for us. Again, the mechanics we can debate. I want to point you to see belief is interesting. We believe that. We believe it at some kind of deep, focused place in us. And humans have since the beginning of time. How do we know what we believe? You ever ask yourself that question? How do you really know what you believe about the universe, about anything? How do you know? How are we sure? Because you see, it is by nature that we have doubts and questions. Every one of us, regardless of the belief about whatever it is, we have doubts and questions. Everyone does. I know some of you were raised to somehow kind of turn those down, turn them off, push them away, cut them off from you. Try if you will, but you cannot. They exist. And why do we believe what we believe? Why do we believe these things? Why do we believe them? You know, we often believe in things that we have no personal experience of. We have no proof of these things. I'm pointing out that belief is kind of elementary to us. It is also like the universe. It is around us and in us at all times. Every second of every day, it exists. Every person has belief. Every person on the planet. Every person has belief on this planet about all manner of things. You see, belief, I believe, is the grounding of human consciousness. Now, sometimes we're not aware of what we believe, but it is what makes us conscious. It makes us who we are. It gives us awareness. It gives us depth perception. It also makes us different than any species that lives. We are different in that way. And our belief not only does that, it tells us who we are, but it also indirectly, you see, guides and pushes our actions and interactions. Every one of them are guided and nudged and pushed by our belief. Belief shapes our society. Belief is, do you know this word a priori? It's before everything. Belief is before everything. Belief is before everything, period. Before perceptions, attitudes, actions, or choices, there's belief. It is the floor on which you stand. It is the floor on which I stand. It is our grounding. It is literally the foundation. And the problem is, most of us have been told what to believe at such an early age that it's kind of hard for us sometimes then to shift or work with those beliefs. We all have that. You have it and I have it too. It's just part of it. What we're told at a certain age sticks with us. And then we have this ongoing debate. Do we have enough permission, enough authority, enough maturity? Do I fight with it, wrestle with it? How do we change all of that? But it in itself is a changing nature. Because some of that, see, if you don't really believe it, but you say you believe it, makes you disconnected. Doesn't it? And the more disconnected we are, the more it doesn't feel good. But believe it or not, once we get that reconnection going, then belief gets engaged, and then you can kind of work with it. That's why I talk about consciousness. It's hard to make that conscious. Now, why in the world have I talked to you philosophically about belief for a few minutes? Because of what we read today. One thing we can be sure of. In the book of Hebrews, our ancestors in Christianity believed 100% the words that we read this morning. 100%. Not 99, 100. And it sounds like this. Jesus is the reflection of God's glory and the exact imprint of God's very being. Jesus is the reflection of God's glory, but even more powerfully, Jesus is the exact imprint of God's very being. They believed it. They lived it. They were willing to die for it, and some of them did. That's history. By the way, that's provable. Provable. No question about it. They believed that in looking at Jesus, they saw God. When they studied and reflected on what Jesus did, they saw God. You catch it. And they thought in doing that they might be able to see the way God sees the world and everybody in it. I've just given you Theology 101. That's what it's all about. I'm done. I don't have anything else to say. Actually, that's it. I will say this, though. It's interesting to me. We were talking about this. There was a Gallup poll out the other day. There are always Gallup polls out there. Interesting to me. They are fascinating. Sampling the United States, sampling our attitudes. 90% of Americans clearly say they believe in God. I was even more impressed by the next statistic that 80% of Americans polled said they believed that Jesus was the Son of God. So 90% of Americans believe in God. 80% believe that Jesus is the Son of God. And less than 40% thought religion is important any longer. You see, there's some disconnect in that, not about what I do for a living. Yeah, I do this for a living. Or y'all spend time at this. But there's some kind of disconnect between belief matters, probably then religion matters. Maybe not in the old ways. If they're expressing it's the way it used to be, I get that. But something kind of foundational about how belief is shaped. Also the reflection of what congregations do. What do we do here? We help each other shape our beliefs. You're not dictated to. We're doing it together. We can't make each other. We welcome each other. So we have all this stuff we're doing all the time. But a whole bunch of people don't think it's necessary. Today you were asked this question, and I'm not going to try to make it cute. See, you're going to beat the Baptists to lunch. Way beat them to lunch today. You're fixing to get out of here. I'm serious. Y'all going to love me in just a second because I'm almost done. You were asked to ponder what do I believe, and to take that seriously. And you know who the question is asked to? Is to you. You need to get in front of the mirror and ask yourself. Don't ask me. Ask yourself. What do I believe? But please just engage yourself a little bit to know that it does matter. Belief flat out matters. It does. Paul Ruff does a great job with our confirmation classes, and Kieran Vinci as well. They work together. Our young people, they do an exercise with them, and they ask them what they believe. And sometimes young people, you know what? They might have something to tell us. So I'm going to tell you what they said, one of the recent confirmation classes. They made a list of we believe. We believe God is in everything and everyone, good and bad. We believe Jesus is in everyone. Jesus died for us. We believe Christians should spread God's message. We should love our neighbors as ourselves, pardon me. Everyone should strive for equality. Everyone should strive for peace. Everyone is in need in some way. Christians should help those in need. Everyone should be grateful. Everyone deserves a good education. Everyone can love. Hate is a cause for love. We should respect our elders. We should not judge others. We should be forgiving of others. The environment is sacred. Material things cannot make you truly happy. You truly never die. Peace is understanding. And the last on the list is God wants us to enjoy life. Enjoy your day. Amen.